Hello. Good morning. Welcome. It's the Super Bowl. It's the super day for the Super Bowl. Who's going to win today? The Eagles or the Chiefs? Or DOGE? We're going to talk about that. Whoop. Where's this playing back from? There we are. Let's mute that. Don't need a playback there. Okay, yeah. So who's going to win today? The Eagles or the Chiefs or Elon Musk and DOGE? We're going to talk about it. Prince Harry. Waking up to see your president dumping on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, dunking on them. Wham with a right hand. What a day. What a time to be alive, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere in between two formerly tariffed nations. My name is Brian Engelman, and today is Sunday, February 9, 2025. And this is the TNAM AM Show here on the New American Media. Now, we do combine the TNAM AM Show and the Agree to Disagree Show on our podcast. Please subscribe to our podcast on Apple, whatever, and on Spotify, whatever. I've never downloaded a podcast in my life. Never. My buddy's like, dude, you guys make a podcast. I'm like, I'm making videos. What do I need a podcast for? Like, did you set up your podcast yet? I'm like, what's a podcast? But if you're into podcasts, sign up for it. Then you can always get our shows. Our numbers are growing over there, which is cool. I like that. The Agree to Disagree Show is how you find our podcast. One of the places that we're monetized is our Rumble channel, the New American Media. YouTube, the New American Media, 1,700 videos over 14 years of content. What, Nimbus? Hey, I am broadcasting, sir. I have a cat that joins me. That's my buddy, but he gets loud sometimes. Make sure you're following us on X at American_media_. Our Instagram and Facebook pages are great. We share awesome content, as you're about to see. So follow us, The New American Media. So who do you got in today's game? Do you care? I guess there's a couple questions. Do you even care about this Super Bowl? I do. I'd like to see the Eagles get justice, get some revenge, some payback, some retribution. You know how they say that about Trump? Oh, it's like, no, it's justice. Eagles had their championship stolen a couple years ago on a ticky-tack play from the referees. And I would like to see that corrected. I want to see that corrected. I thought it was pretty unfair how that whole situation played out 2 Super Bowls ago. And it sure seems like they've rigged the situation. They've rigged the games so that their golden boys, the Chiefs, can just keep winning and they can push some sort of fake dynasty on us, and we're supposed to love it. I don't love it. Not a fan. This whole Travis Kelce, sponsored by Pfizer. Congratulations. Here's a few $1 million for running our jab ads. By the way, here's Taylor Swift. Here's a nice, lovely consolation prize for doing as you're told, Mr. Travis Kelce. Is that too far? I don't think so. Yeah. By the way, leave your comments, hit like and subscribe. Giving people a moment to jump into the room here, and we're going to launch all of our show. And I have just sent this message out to everybody on Meta. Perfect. We are good to go. Yeah, it just seems like Patrick Mahomes is like their golden child, they're the chosen one. Just really force feeding us that the Kansas City, every commercial is Kansas City Chiefs. But the Kansas City Chiefs feel like the DEI team, the DEI franchise, the DEI dynasty. Chiefs, are they a DEI dynasty? I did stand-up comedy this week. I did 3 sets. Felt pretty good about the third set. First one, I was shaking. I had like all of my cards here, like little notes, and I wrote out my jokes. That was on Tuesday. I did 2 sets, and then on Thursday I did sets, another set. I felt good on Thursday. Thursday felt good, and I kind of talked about the Black Hawk helicopter crash, and I talked about DEI, and I talked about the Chiefs, and I kind of wove them together because it's like you're supposed to be exceptional to be a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. You're supposed to be exceptional to be a commercial air pilot. You're supposed to be exceptional to be an air traffic controller. Caring more about what somebody looks like or who they sleep with or what color the pigment of their skin is the least relevant part of getting that job. You know, Patrick Mahomes, he's kind of like the Obama of the NFL, half white, half black, the golden child. Oh, super marketable. Everybody, oh my gosh, in their heyday, everyone loves them. I find it awesome that Barack Hussein Obama has completely lost control of his Democratic Party, though, because for 12 of the last 16 years, we've been driving ourselves off of a cliff, paying money through USAID to destroy our country. But now some people see it. Now we understand who Obama is and how destructive he's been. Probably the biggest destructive force in American politics in American history. That feels very easy to say for me. Now, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is evil. I'm just saying that when my Cleveland Browns played the Kansas City Chiefs with Baker Mayfield, remember that during the COVID season, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever that was? There was a clear helmet-to-helmet collision from Dirty Dan Sorensen. You're not supposed to use the crown of your helmet to hit somebody. You're not allowed to hit your helmet to another person's helmet because they're trying to watch the concussions. You're supposed to hit in the chest. You're supposed to wrap up in the core, drag the person down. I hate when you dive at the knees and try to take somebody's knee out like Minka Fitzpatrick and the Pittsburgh Steelers did to Nick Chubb. Completely destroyed his leg. In a real, it's a pussy move. It's a real punk move to go after somebody's knees and try to blow out their knee. Coming from somebody who's had a knee reconstruction, you know what it is? It's on Pulp Fiction. Talking about some chicken shit kid that keyed my car. It almost would have been worth him keying my car if I could have caught him doing it. It's chicken shit. You don't do that to somebody. And Dirty Dan Sorensen came flying across the field. Baker Mayfield threw a perfect touchdown pass to Hollywood Higgins, who dove into the end zone for a touchdown. However, Kansas City Chiefs guy ran all the way across the field, put his helmet down, and didn't put his arm, just speared his helmet into Hollywood Higgins' helmet, causing a fumble at the 1 yard line that went through the end zone, resulting in not 7 points for the Browns, a touchback, loss of possession, Chiefs ball at their own 20 instead of our 7 points. At the very least, that should have been unsportsmanlike conduct, unnecessary roughness, targeting, players ejected, Cleveland Browns ball at the 1 yard line, 1st and goal. In which case we would have got that touchdown with Nick Chubb. We lost to the Kansas City Chiefs by less than a touchdown in that game, and we would have played in the AFC Championship game the next round for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The entire future of the Cleveland Browns, the entire future of that core of players, Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, Denzel Ward, Baker Mayfield, Joel Bitonio, like that whole core of young, talented players, instead of now they're on the verge of breaking up and being injured, and Baker was traded away, and the whole Deshaun Watson debacle, Myles Garrett wants out. That was our chance to win a Super Bowl, and that was robbed by the NFL not calling that blatant targeting call on Dirty Dan Sorensen of the Kansas City Chiefs. I have a personal beef with the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL. They robbed me of our chance to go to the Super Bowl that year. And DEI every day has been, for God knows how long has this been going on. It was called affirmative action at one point. That's been ruled unconstitutional because it's racist. And that's obvious. And maybe there was a point in our nation's history where something like that would have been helpful to kind of help, I don't know, recalibrate things a little bit and kind of nudge us in the direction of a little bit more equality. And, well, you guys have been marginalized for a while, and this will help you get a leg up. But that's not a leg up. It's a leg against white, straight Christian males. Like if you check the boxes of too normie, too old school American, too conservative, too libertarian, too constitutional, too basic. Yeah, you're a basic bro if you're a straight white Christian dude. You've had every mechanism working against you your entire life. How can you say that? America is systemically racist. This isn't the 1700s. It's not the 1800s. We're not even in the 1900s anymore. America's an awesome place that did fight a bloody civil war to stop slavery. Take that same energy to where slavery is being practiced today. You know, when Barack Hussein Obama, through his puppet Joe Biden, intentionally opened the borders and they lost, 300,000 children being sex trafficked, being sold into slave labor. In modern times, this is what your Democrat Party has been producing. Why don't you save that same energy for those kids and for all the slave labor you tried to pump into the country to permanently alter the demographics of places like Springfield, Ohio, wherever Ilhan Omar landed in Minnesota, and everywhere else it's happening. Look across Africa, people are being sold today. America is a great place, despite the fact that Colin Kaepernick and Nike and Barack Hussein Obama and the Democrat Party launched a nonstop barrage to tell us that this is a terrible place. America is awful. America is systemically racist. You know what I told my foster kid? There's a lot of terminology in the foster system. I didn't end up being a foster. I was what was I? I don't know, custodian or a legal guardian. My neighbor found himself in a situation, and I was in a unique spot. I'd known him half of his life, a 10-year-old boy, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I didn't have this on my bingo card, but if you need to stay here, I'll get a futon. You can sleep in the office. I don't know, dude. We'll make it work, and we'll get you through this semester of school, so you don't have to leave all your friends the last year you're in elementary school before you head to middle school. I'll work with it. We'll make it work, and so we made it work. And then he was able to, things stabilized, and he was reunited with his situation worked out. But the point is, when I spoke with him, I don't know anything about being a 10-year-old black boy. I don't. He doesn't know anything about being an awesome white dude. But I did know the type of crap that was being pumped into his head. I heard it. I heard a lot of it from various places. I went to the school. I talked to the principal. I defended him. And I was horrified. Those Marxist raised fists all over the classroom and rainbow flags and what'd you do today? Oh, we read about Dr. Seuss. I go, oh, what books did you read? He's like, oh, we didn't read the books. We read about Dr. Seuss. I go, you spent your time in class in 5th grade reading about Dr. Seuss. Uh-huh. All right. What'd you read about? Well, lady's a racist. Sorry. Why is this part of the 5th grade curriculum? Unless you're trying to cause permanent brain damage in these children and to permanently convince these people that they can't succeed, that the world is rigged against them. Everybody hates them, so they need to be racist against everyone that's not them. It is poison, the shit that he was being told on a daily basis from all sorts of places. Poison. He was being poisoned. It's brain damage. It is abuse. And so when I had him for whatever that was, half a year, I said, buddy, look, I can't speak to what you've been told growing up. I can't speak to all of it. Just starting from today, I just want you to know, look, don't buy into that bullshit. America is an awesome place. You will be the reason for your success. and you will be the reason for your failure. It ain't about pinning pin the tail on Whitey, pin the tail on some system that has it in for black kids or black people, or because of something that happened 50 years ago. That's why I can't make it today. I go, dude, anyone giving you that line of poison, they're spoon feeding you poison. They're holding your mouth open. You ever try to feed a pill to a cat or a dog? You wrap it in bacon. You just, I said, the people telling you stuff like that are filling your brain with poison. Reject it. Please reject it. What I'm telling you is the truth. You will be responsible for your successes. You will be responsible for your failures. If you develop a work ethic and stop whining and stop listening to people who are whining and stop complaining and stop listening to people who are complaining and just put your head down and work, you're going to be a massive success. Don't get wrapped up in all this blame and finger pointing and whining. That's loser think. You can be successful at whatever you decide to put your head down and work on. If you put your head down and work and you don't make excuses and you don't whine and cry about things that are outside your control, you are in control of your life. Go out there and crush it, dude. Crush it. You got this. Like, that was the message I tried to give him. Did it stick? Did it whatever? Like I said, he got reunited with he's unfortunately, I haven't talked with him in a while. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's crushing life. If I were placing a bet like it's a Super Bowl, what would I bet? I don't know. I shudder to think of that he's not crushing it. But it's a coin flip chance. I don't know. I just hope he's crushing him. But the NFL, back to the Super Bowl, the NFL bought into all of this Colin Kaepernick crap. Colin Kaepernick. One of the biggest things that molded me in the unhappy hour and our trajectory was just a complete repudiation of this nonsense racist narrative. The NFL, right, Colin Kaepernick and Nike and Obama and Democrats, right. Yeah, they're not signing Colin Kaepernick because he's half white or half black or whatever their damn story was. It was because he was an aging quarterback who was playing in the pistol system that, number one, requires your quarterback to be very agile and running. And you know what? Like the hot girl in high school, those looks don't stay forever. Like a running quarterback, eventually you can't run like you used to. Do you have pocket presence? Are you able to sit in the pocket and throw? Can you navigate and be the captain of your ship from inside the pocket? Because that's a trick. That's a parlor trick. Oh, I'm a running quarterback. Yeah, until you're not. So you take that one extra hit because you were outside of the pocket and you were a runner, not a quarterback, so you're not protected the same. Colin Kaepernick got old, and the NFL figured out how to defend the pistol system. Harbaugh was coaching him in San Francisco into the Super Bowl even. They lost the Super Bowl. Remember last time the Super Bowl was in New Orleans? Didn't the lights go out? If I'm remembering correctly, that was Ravens in 2012 or something, 2013 against 49ers and Colin Kaepernick. But Kaepernick decided to take a knee. And he couldn't even articulate what he was doing. And then he got coached up and he had a militant girlfriend and Nike behind him working with Obama and the Democrats to push this fake racist narrative. And it's just been poison that the Democrats have been feeding us, that the NFL has been feeding us. The media funded by U.S. aid, the politicos, and then it was the New York Times and all sorts of them. Obama switched around the Smith-Mundt Act so that they could push propaganda through their networks then. It was politically expedient to try to paint this nation as a shit nation, to try to guilt trip white people into shutting up. We dare not speak out. We dare not speak truth to craziness, lest we be called bad names by Obama and his ilk and his cronies, his henchmen. That's why you've seen all of the Riley Gaines stuff. No, it's totally fine for a dude to be in the locker room now. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, dudes can be in locker rooms with chicks now. Well, why were they separated in the first place? Well, because, men are obviously stronger and faster, and that's why they're separate sports. So why are you letting this dude in? Because this dude says he's a woman. So get him some help. Why? No, you don't get to swim against ladies. You give the guy some help. You work with him. Gender dysphoria is in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. You work with them with compassion and be like, buddy, like, you can love who you love, you can dress how you dress, but you're going to swim against the guys. You're going to use the bathroom with the guys because you are a guy. But normal people were scared by Obama, scared by the Democrats, threatened, bullied. The same thing that they said, oh, that's how America's been. They've bullied marginalized groups for so long. Marginalized groups have been bullied so long that we will now do the bullying. That's what Obama did. And so we had to sit down and shut up. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't want to be called a bad name. Well, I mean, I guess I guess America's a bad place. I guess America's racist. I guess you can let dudes compete against women and take their scholarships and take their glory. Mediocre men can become women now. Mediocre men can compete against women in sports in the MMA ring, busting them up. Fallon Fox. Look that person up, Fallon Fox. Look up the lady that the girl, I think she was in college. She's playing against a guy on a ladies team that let her play for some reason. And shame on the coach of the opposing team for not boycotting the game and saying we're not playing against a man on that team. This is a girls' sport. We're playing against girls. Dude spiked the ball, blasted her face. I mean, I've seen teeth knocked out, concussions, permanent brain damage. You don't let men compete against and beat up on women. But we have been beaten up. Americans have been beaten up by Obama and his backward politics for 12 of the last 16 years. The Joe Biden term, the stolen election, the completely rigged 81 million votes. That was the third Barack Hussein Obama term and the most honest term that he's had to date. Obama finally got to take off his mask and run every demonic policy he could think of because he got to blame it all on the old white man. And he got to put Obama up there. I've been asked if I would maybe serve a third term, maybe in the basement, with an earpiece, and maybe if I could, maybe be in my pajamas. Maybe I could, read the speech and make the decisions from my basement with an earpiece if I had somebody there to serve a third term. Obama talked about that. That's exactly what Biden was. And when Biden got up there and said, America's not going to be a white nation, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. Why is that a good thing? Why is that a bad thing? Why is that a good thing? It was Obama like forcing this dude to read bullshit off of scripts, pushing the Obama doctrine, the Obama agenda. I call it the Obama doctrine of division and hatred and brain damage and abuse and general fuckery, just general fuckery. And the nation has had enough of it. We've turned the corner to the golden age now. We are done. And I think Huma Abedin marrying Alex Soros pretty much shows that Hillary Clinton has seized control of the Democrat Party away from Obama. Obama, who put Joe Biden up there. Obama, who let Joe Biden run for a second term. Obama, who saw what a train wreck he was finally, had to put Kamala Harris in there. Kamala Harris. How did Kamala Harris get into that position? Well, she got into that position because Joe Biden said, yeah, I got to pick a vice president. It's gonna be a woman of color. You know the thing. I'm gonna pick a woman of color as vice president. Instead of picking the most qualified person, he said, I'm going to pick the most qualified woman of color. Discriminating against men, discriminating against people not of that color. He didn't say I'm picking the most qualified person, like we suspect about the DEI helicopter crash. We don't know. Remember, that was misattributed to some trans pilot, and the pilot's like, I'm right here. That ain't me. I'm like, well, why haven't you released the name? Like, what's the deal? Is this someone that went through the training? Is this somebody that is as qualified as everybody else? Or was the military so intent on adding women, adding trans, adding colors, adding checkmark boxes, adding sexual proclivity, instead of just the most qualified pilots? Did that play a role? Kansas City Chiefs. Why do they keep rigging the games in favor of the Chiefs? Because Patrick Mahomes is their golden boy? Because Travis Kelce does the Pfizer ads and puts the little Band-Aid on his arm and tries to sell it to you so Fauci can get rich after he paid U.S. aid to fund the Wuhan lab to release the fucking coronavirus that killed my mother at the beginning of COVID and killed my brother at the end of it? Yeah, I have thoughts on this. My name is Inigo Montoya. Half my family wiped out from USAID, Fauci, Wuhan, and that bullshit bioweapon that was intentionally released. Prove me wrong. Intentionally released. There you go. We'll put the countervailing views at the bottom. With a gun to my head, under duress, for countervailing views, please visit cisa.gov/rumor control regarding elections, because I previously mentioned that Joe Biden's 2020 victory was complete bullshit. Also, go to the WHO website, who.int, and cdc.gov for all medical issues, in cdc.gov/vaccine, specifically regarding vaccine-related medical claims and political implications thereof. Remember when I said we were scared to speak up? When we were scared to talk about common sense? Like, no, a man should not be beating on a woman in MMA. No, a man should not be spiking a volleyball and crushing a girl's skull, busting her nose, giving her a concussion and permanent brain damage, neck damage. No, a guy should not be in the locker room with girls creeping on him. He should not be tucking and swimming and competing and winning championships over Riley Gaines. Those two topics. Read the Time magazine article, how they fortified the 2020 election. They rigged it completely. The 51 intelligence liars, the traitors who staged a coup to overthrow President Trump. 51 spooks, alphabet agency creeps, lied about the Hunter Biden laptop that would have completely blown out any chance for the Democrats to rig those 7 states that all paused their counts. Magically, we are all pausing vote counts now. We could never know on voting night anymore. We have to just continue counting until we find enough to barely put Biden over the top. And that's totally believable. And if you don't believe it, you'll be silenced. Your shows will be taken offline. Your content deleted. Your videos demonetized so you can't earn a living because you're not repeating our lies. If you talked about the bioweapon unleashed by U.S. aid and Fauci and Wuhan, you were silenced. If you talked about the rigged 2020 election, you were silenced. And for a long time, I even put my fucking head down and tried to work a normal job. Just tried to clock in, do my thing. I have value in other areas of life. I was trying to focus on the private sector. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point in me saying anything? I got 6,400 subscribers, millions of views on YouTube. Hardly anybody watching my content because they demonetized it. They deranked it. They shadow banned it. They deleted episodes. If I didn't speak how they wanted me to speak. U.S. aid money funding independent fact checkers, non-governmental organizations. You ever get that thing? An independent fact checker has found that you have committed the egregious act of misinformation or disinformation. Fuck you. And that's the world I was living in. Why would I bother? Oh, yeah, I'm going to keep pushing this media thing with the new American media. What a great idea. You see, I was 14 years ahead of the curve. I knew that we've been lied to for a very long time. I knew about the deep state. I knew about the creeps trying to steal our sovereignty, take away our Second Amendment rights to fight. You know why? Because they're trying to conquer us. I've been talking about devaluing our currency, which is inflation, which is theft. Why? Because they're trying to conquer us. They're trying to demoralize us. They're trying to destroy us. I've been talking about depopulation. I've been talking about weather warfare. I've been talking about Anunnaki, for the love of God. I've been on top of all sorts of things for 14 years. I've been directionally right. I have never intentionally misled any of you ever about a single story. Where there's stories that I thought were accurate and later turned out maybe we didn't have all the information, or maybe something was incorrect. Of course. But I dare you, put my batting average with the New American Media up against anybody else. All of these liars at MSNBC and CNN, Fox, put my batting average numbers next and tell me why they get to go to the Hall of Fame and I don't. Tell me why they get a roster spot in the big leagues and I don't. Because I don't see it. I don't understand it. And I'm not accepting it. And so I do speak about these issues now. Because the only reason the NFL was allowed to get away with this end racism and we're taking a knee and, oh, it's systemically this against that, and we got to rail against white society and white people and white, bad. Fuck you, NFL. Painting with a broad brush to just slander and denigrate an entire race of people because you went along with the Colin Kaepernick, Nike, Barack Hussein Obama, Democrat lies. If you looked at the stats from police, if you looked at all of the numbers and all of the things that Colin Kaepernick eventually had some consultant get in his ear, and you got to refine your message. You're kind of all over the place, buddy. Say these things. Well, the things he was saying were incorrect. And it was painting a real false narrative that was destructive, corrosive, divisive, demonic. And look, it's all come full circle now. It's all come full circle. Donald Trump is back in office. Donald Trump will be at the Super Bowl tonight, and they're painting over where it says end racism. The implication that America is an evil, racist place. Thank God for that little victory. Would they have done that if Kamala Harris, someone who nobody has ever voted for in the Democrat primaries ever, not a single vote in the primaries, failed her way to the top, slept her way to the top, was put into a position, the Peter Principle. Peter Principle is where you will rise to the level of your own incompetence. And then you will get stuck there and you will not advance because that's just how it goes. That's not what Kamala Harris is, though. Kamala Harris is a fence post turtle. In 1998, Hillary Clinton said, if you find a turtle on a fence post, should I use my fake accent when I'm Hillary Clinton trying to talk to people in the South? I put hot sauce on everything. I keep it in my purse, don't you know? I'll try to do my Hillary with my hill dog. Try to do my Hillary without the accent. But she said in 1998 on Good Morning America, if you find a turtle on a fence post, it didn't get there by accident. And I just look at the landscape around here and I see lots of big old turtles sitting on a lot of fence posts. And I think we need to find out how those old turtles got on those fence posts. What does that mean? You know, he didn't get up there by himself. He doesn't belong up there. He doesn't know what to do while he's up there. He's elevated beyond his ability to function. And you just wonder what kind of dumbass put him up there to begin with. That's Kamala Harris. Completely out of her depth. A completely unserious person. A laughing stock. And I think that's what essentially lost Barry Soetoro, Barack Hussein Obama, whatever you want to call him, and his significant other, whatever you want to call that person. I think that's why they ultimately lost the Democrat Party, which is, thank God, what a dark chapter to 2 decades of misery. 16 years of their backward influence. And the NFL getting rid of that, this implication that Whitey's bad and America's bad, good riddance to bad rubbish. Good riddance to bad rubbish. America is an awesome place. This is the golden age. Look at the progress. Look at the positive change that Donald Trump has been able to accomplish in just his first 3 weeks, and he's just getting warmed up. He's called himself the common sense president, said this is the golden age. Yes, he's just doing common sense stuff. Like, I don't know, if you're going to try to tell us, Joe Biden, that there's a pandemic that we all need to be taking this jab of instead of just getting natural immunity, developing antibodies and using monoclonal antibodies or ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine. No. It's a one-size-fits-all approach. And by the way, Fauci happens to make a commission off of every jab, allegedly. Allegedly, because it's a little murky to try to get into those numbers. But yeah, they called Fauci Joseph Mengele now. His work with AIDS, it's not work. The torturous stuff that he did to people, the families, the lives that he ruined. Yeah, they pushed a one-size-fits-all approach. And they said, you can't work in the military. You can't work in federal government. You can't travel unless you get these vax cards. What the fuck? No, I'm not getting a fucking vax card. Not doing it. Nope, you have to do it. That's the new world order. You're getting your vax card or else you can't live in society. You can't buy goods. You can't sell goods. It's your 666, your mark of the beast. There you go. Here's your vax card. Bend over and take it. I'm gonna insert this thing into you and you're going to like it. I'm Harvey Weinstein. And you're going to insert this thing, and you're going to like it if you want to work in this town. At the same time that they opened the border and let 30 million illegal alien invaders in without them getting tested, without them getting jabbed, and you instantly knew that their narrative was always bullshit. It was all a cover. It was all used as a bioweapon to overthrow Trump, to gain power and control, to shut down small business, reconfigure, shuffle that deck of cards and make sure that you rig it so all of your cards are up at the top. That's what happened during those years of COVID. That's what happened during Barack Hussein Obama's third and most honest term. And that's what we're emerging from now. So I'm telling you, just like I told the boy that I brought into my home and said, you can stay here as long as you need to, man. And I would have. I would have adopted the kid and just, I guess we're together now. I don't know. I'll help you get to 18 and figure your life out, buddy. I don't know. I didn't ask for this, but what you're just going to turn a blind eye to that? Yeah, go ahead. Go get tossed into the system. Go get abused by God knows who with God knows what intentions. No, I didn't want to do that. Just like my cat that was meowing at me earlier, sleeping behind me. Chillaxing. I had a neighbor yell up to me in my condominium in Los Angeles, hey, Brian, there's a cat in the laundry room. I'm like, huh? Yeah, come get him. And you hear meow, meow, meow. I didn't have it on my bingo card for the day to go get a cat, but I got a cat because the cat needed some help, and here I was, and that's what you do. I try to improve things around me. And it's just like I told my I got my buddy, my cat. I tell him things. I don't know how much he listens. But like the boy that I invited in my home and said, you can stay here until you need to, as long as you need to, you got a place. Like, I'll just focus on school and get your life back together. Like, don't worry about that. Like, you can stay as long as you need. That is the message that I gave him. That America's a great place and you can succeed. You are the only person responsible for your success and your failures. That is completely against, the little stickers and the painting in the back of the end zones, end racism and this whole BLM, George Floyd, divisive, Obama, U.S. aid, coup strategy, divide and conquer tactics that they've been using. And I think in the golden age, I think we're moving past it. It's a little thing painting over the end racism thing and just stop trying to browbeat us. You saw on Bill Maher where they said they had two guests, Byron Donalds and some lady. I don't know who she is. And she's like, why would you get rid of that? Bill Maher is like, you don't know why you would want to get rid of that. And she's like, and it was about like being an asshole. Like, it just kind of means don't be an asshole. And Byron Donalds like, if that's what you're trying to say, then just write don't be an asshole. Because this implied America's evil, white people are evil shit is done. This implied, yeah, dudes can be girls at any point, and we should chop up little kids, put them on hormone blockers, and chop their parts so they can never orgasm, and you're messing with all their plumbing for the rest of their lives. We should do Frankenstein experiments on people. That's done. The DEI, we're going to discriminate against people. That's done. We are emerging from really dark days where I had seriously wondered if our nation could survive. Days so dark that we created this intro right here. And if you are listening to that and not watching that, that is our intro for the New American Media, showing the regular flag coming down and the upside down flag of distress being raised. The last 4 years have been the most urgent, pulsating, red lights flashing down to our last breath situation you've ever seen. Coming after everything that it means to be an American and trying to bastardize it and reverse it. So I see glimmers of hope like I have maybe never seen before in my entire lifetime. I finally see a president that cares. I see people that are... What's up, Kenneth? Welcome. I see people finally speaking out for the first time in a long time, and I see what Trump has called not just the golden age, but we're now the party of common sense. MAGA is the party of common sense. Don't confuse MAGA with Republican. A lot of Republicans are just as bad as demon rats, Democrats. BLM means big, large mess. Well, join the vax scene. So look, I'm going to take this Super Bowl. This is going to be a nice moment. Sports is supposed to be about unification, not division. Obama, Bubba Wallace, Colin Kaepernick, LeBron and his garbage. Oh, there's a hate crime. Somebody spray painted all over my garage. All right, let's come take a look. Oh, we cleaned it up. Sorry, you called us for a crime scene, but then you cleaned it up. Yep. All right, that removes all the evidence. So I guess let's take a look at your videotapes and we'll see if we can identify anybody based on that. Our cameras weren't working. Oh, so you completely fabricated a fake race crime, a fake race hoax. 2018, 2019, whatever year that was. Yeah. Well, I think sports can move culture. Culture impacts sports. Sports impacts culture. And I think there are some little wins that are happening, but I will consider today to be a big step backward if the referees rig the game against the Eagles again. Saquon Barkley being the most talented player on that field, I hope he gets a championship with the Eagles. Or we could move forward and just let the best person win. The true end of DEI. DEI means didn't earn it. That you somehow got extra privileges because you can cross off check marks of identity markers instead of just being competent. Can you throw the ball? Can you block? Can you tackle? Can you catch the ball? Can you kick the ball? Who does a better job? That's a meritocracy. That's the opposite of DEI. So come on, referees. Don't become the game today. Don't rig this game. Don't rig them. Don't let the Chiefs. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's my message to the referees. Please don't do what we've seen you doing all this time, because we're in a new America and we don't like unqualified people like Joe Biden or Kamala Harris getting anywhere near positions of power or prestige. You need to earn it. So that's my message to the NFL. And that is all I have to say about that. Let's jump into the news, shall we? Here's Tucker Carlson. This is maybe the best clip on the internet today. And once again, I said that we call this the Obama doctrine. He was much more vile, traitorous, and destructive than you know. Indict him already. I mean that. That is not hyperbolic, and I'm not off my rocker. Obama has committed so many verified acts of treason. It is hard to list them all. So here's Tucker Carlson talking about U.S. aid. The same tactics that U.S. aid has been using to destabilize governments around the world have now been deployed against Americans. He's talking with Mike Benz here.
Making the hair on my arms go up because you're describing what's happened in our country.
Yes.
You're describing the 2017 Charlottesville march, the Nazi march. You're describing what happened on January 6th. You're describing the riots after George Floyd was murdered. You're describing the rise of rap music and drugs in our city and trainee story hour. You're describing all the trends in our country that seem to arise out of nowhere, whose net effect is to destabilize America, to fray the social fabric, to divide people from each other, to make them easier to control, and in the case of Trump's first term, to undermine the White House.
What was done in this case in Bangladesh, and these leaked documents from the Gray Zone show this, a plan to destabilize Bangladesh politics. They sought the LGBT population to Bangladeshi ethnic minority groups and student groups. They turned around and they took U.S. taxpayer funds and they funded Bangladeshi rap groups to produce songs and music videos insinuating that people should take to the streets and do street protests. This is, for example, how we end up funding terrorist groups and paramilitaries. It's the coalition of the fringes and the extremes and the weirdos and the criminals and the prostitutes.
What you're describing that we did in Bangladesh is what's happened here. And so it raises the question, like, was that all by design also? And of course it was.
Of course it was. That is called the Obama Doctrine. The Obama Doctrine, everybody. The most toxic thing that happened to us was allowing Barack Hussein Obama anywhere near the levers of control. Let's click on this, see what we have here. I guess one. Okay. What is this? Elon Musk. He's buying ads. I think he spent $30 million on his own Super Bowl ad, of his own money, to describe what DOGE is doing. He's going to do Super Bowl ads. So who's going to win today? The Eagles or the Chiefs or Elon and DOGE? I think Elon and DOGE are going to win. They're going to connect with a lot of people that don't normally follow what's going on. He's going to break through today. Elon Musk says the Democrats are trying to hide possibly the biggest fraud scheme in human history. ALX said Secretary of the Treasury functions as the CFO of the U.S. government. If the CFO is denied access to spending information, how can he do his job? Yeah, you got Judge Engelman, who's married to Emily Mandelatum, who's a member of the National Advisory Board of Apple Subs, which has received millions of dollars in U.S. aid funds. Can't put that genie back in the bottle again, Cat Turd says. The world has seen Democrats' corruption and nothing is stopping this train, especially that corrupt dork activist judge. But yeah, they're trying to block DOGE from finding out what's going on. They need more time to shred documents. Well, we'll see how long this temporary injunction lasts, and we'll see what we find out once we get in there. The deep state is fighting back because they're, they've been robbing. I had a family member, Jacob D. Haven. In the revolutionary days, he was over there in the colonies. I refer to him as a pirate. He was robbing the British ships. He was taking the goods and selling them and taking the money that he made to fund the revolutionary troops in our revolution. Or he was loaning, he was getting goods and supplies and loaning them to the federal government or to the George Washington and the revolutionaries so that we could overthrow the despot, the totalitarian leadership of Great Britain, of England, the King of England. Now, of course, Jacob D. Haven was promised continentals as repayment, and he said, I don't want continentals. I'd like gold or silver, something equivalent back. And he died without ever getting repaid. But he was a pirate. He was robbing from the people in charge to fund the revolution and the resistance. I can appreciate that. But what I don't appreciate is that happening today so that people can rob me to destroy me. And by me, I mean, yes, all those things I said in the intro. What a monologue that was. I did not intend on having that type of monologue today, but I guess I had a lot to say. I always have a lot to say. But they're coming after me. Generically, straight, white, Christian, male. I don't know why that became the one group you're allowed to hate, but I've been the one discriminated against my entire life because of this stuff. But it's not just me, like in a look in the mirror and there's the most important person in your life. I mean, on a level of coming after America, to destroy America, to infiltrate America with all the weirdest shit you could imagine, all the most backward stuff you could imagine, all the most divisive, destructive stuff, all while ringing up a credit card tab of $36 trillion, while devaluing the money I have in my pocket to steal from me even more. And that stuff is done. That stuff is over. And it is all hands on deck. You thought you'd win this election and catch your breath and take a break. No. Full speed ahead. Pedal to the metal. Let's go. This might be the one chance we have to fix the cancer that's been eating away at this nation, trying to destroy us. Speaking of trying to destroy us, let's show you this here. Remember this moment? Well, according to Toria Brooke, this is a nice account to follow. President Donald Trump has ordered Secret Service to provide, quote, every bit of information, end quote, about the assassination attempts made against him. Remember where we were? We were 2 inches away. We were 2 inches away from a civil war in absolute chaos in this country because we were not going to let the Democrats steal another term. We know what they did in 2020. Never again. And they tried to blow President Trump's head off in Butler, Pennsylvania. But instead, he turned his head slightly. And the course of history was changed forever because his head went from here to here, from here to here. That was the difference. Remember, here he is standing up. Remember this moment.
Wait.
Right. Bloody head. Remember this? That's what they will do to you. The deep state hates you. They will kill you. They will kill all of us. Look at COVID. Gain of function research was banned. Censoring First Amendment rights has been banned. That is antithetical. And the Lord said, sir, I'm not done with you yet. I said, sir. That is always my intro. Oh, Kenneth, how could I show you? If I type something, can you get a link? I could show you my stand-up set. I did a little bit of a Trump, but I didn't lead with sir. And maybe it threw me off a little bit. Hang on, let me see if I can grab this. It's not coming up. It's not live. It's not a short. Where is this? Oh, let me try. All right. Yeah, here it is. Let me see. 29 people have watched it. Okay. Kenneth, if I do this, are you able to click that? Are you able to follow that link? That's my stand-up set. And I said, sir. No, he's not saying sir. Someone around him is always saying sir because they're calling him sir. I did my Trump impersonation. You see it. Does that mean you can click it and view the comedy set? If so, watch it after. Let me know what you think. Okay, continuing on the stories here with Realtor Toria Brooke. Trump has now stripped the security clearances, or he's going to. He's now stripping security clearances from numerous antagonists. And these are traitors, by the way. These are traitors. election interference traitors. A New York Attorney General Letitia James and District Attorney Alvin Bragg. It's about damn time. Just days after revoking Joe Biden's access to classified information and secure federal buildings because I don't trust him, Trump said his new top target is ex-Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who orchestrated the Dirty 51 letter from former intelligence officials on the eve of the 2020 election. The infamous missive falsely claimed that Hunter Biden's laptop, the contents of which the Post revealed, was Russian disinformation. Blinken's security clearances will be revoked following the same presidential directive aimed at Biden and the 51 ex-spooks last week, Trump told the Post in an exclusive interview. Bad guy, take away his passes, he said of Blinken. This is to take away every right they have, revoking security clearances, including they can't go into federal buildings. New York AG Letitia James and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg joined the new group of 8 Democrat foes Trump plans to punish by revoking access. Good. They're traitors. The move is regarded as more symbolic than consequential for the New York lawfare duo. All right. I'm here for it, but it could hamper them a little bit from doing their duties. I'm here for it. It's about damn time. DC Drano saying, did you catch this part? Elon said, I was told that there are currently over $100 billion a year of entitlement payments to individuals with no social security number or even a temporary ID number. If accurate, this is extremely suspicious. Remember when they say, oh, illegals aren't getting any tax dollars? Non-Americans stealing our resources while Maui, Los Angeles, East Palestine, Ohio, and Western North Carolina are ravaged by cataclysmic disasters. Here's a $700 check. Go F yourself. Meanwhile, here's $100 billion a year of entitlement payments going to people who don't have social security numbers. Tell me if that makes sense. Elon said, sir. Okay, so you can click it and see it. All right, yeah, I'll take your thoughts on the stand-up bit. I'm honing it. I'm still refining it. I still have ideas. Anyway, over $100 billion is being sent every year to people in America with no social security number. This might be the biggest money laundering scandal since Ukraine, Act Blue, and all the other globalist scams. This is why Democrats are freaking out. Their DC gravy train was just exposed. Here's a nice little meme from Being a Libertarian. Elon Musk is not going after citizens. Elon Musk is going after government, and everyone should be cheering for that. Here is people who Mindset of the Aware shares this. America's new Secretary of Energy just exposed the entire climate scam.
Who are driving policy, the media, politicians, they've never bothered to learn anything about climate change, and they don't seem to appreciate at all that the cost and affordability of energy is simply intimate to human well-being. It always has, everywhere and always. So these two ignorances about the importance of energy and about real facts about climate change are driving just a massively destructive movement, not just destructive to the economic well-being of humans, but I speak in schools, it's turning people away from science, and I mean science, this process of questioning and challenging, not the science, this sort of top-down, mandates that justify what people want to do anyway, that has nothing to do with climate change. And how has it gone so far? So we're 20 years, $2 trillion of subsidies. In the year 2000, the world got 86% of its total primary energy from fossil fuels. So last year, in 2020, that 86% plunged all the way down to 84%. So calling this an energy transition, and everyone in my industry does that. The investment banks, the companies, you're supposed to write an ESG report apologizing that you're in our industry and how you're going to get out someday and your energy transition strategy. Well, the low-hanging fruit is the start. That's the electricity sector in rich countries. If 20 years and that much money drove us from 86 to 84, that's not an energy transition at all.
So
people who are driving policy.
So we finally have somebody now who's calling out the absurdity of this suicidal and super expensive energy policy that Obama has been pushing under the Obama doctrine. Sold out to China, making all these batteries and the cobalt mines and the slave labor. We have so much energy in this country, and they just want it to be expensive. Man, my electric bill, my gas bill was so high. Holy shit. Anybody else blown away by how expensive your gas bill was? You got to lower these prices. Kenneth saying that Biden was Trader Joe. Let me remind you of this classic moment on the Kill Tony show with Shane Gillis as President Trump.
What do you do?
Right now I'm working at Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe, that's what we call this guy. He's sold out this country.
This might be the first episode where I literally pass out in the middle of the show.
Welcome to my world. I should be in bed right now with a melatonin and a book.
What do you do?
One more with Trader Joe.
Right now I'm working at Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe, that's what we call this guy. He's sold out this country.
That's so funny. God, that's funny. All right. Back here, people. Continuing on with the news. So, yeah, this is a good first step. Who shared this? Gentry Gevers? I don't know how to say his name. Sorry, not trying to be a smartass. I just Gevers. Gentry Gevers shares Trump has revoked security clearances for Joe Biden, president. Well, former vice president. I will not call him a president. Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State, former. John Brennan, former CIA director. James Clapper, director of national intelligence. Michael Hayden, former CIA and NSA director. James Comey. These are all the dirtiest traitors in our federal government. It's a nice first step to revoke security clearance, but where are the indictments for treason? These people thought they could get away with all of the anti-American stuff they were doing. If there's not a punishment, there will be more of this. And if you strongly punish these people, including the ultimate penalty for treason, not kidding, not being hyperbolic, not being threatening, I'm being honest about calling out treason as defined in our governing documents. Andrew McCabe, Susan Rice, Samantha Power, Sally Yates, Bruce Orr, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Letitia James, Alvin Bragg. This is a laundry list of everyone who needs to be brought up on treason charges. And now that security clearance has been revoked. That's a good first step, but like that's just getting started. There's a lot more to it. This is Let's Check the News. What is this clip here?
6,000 journalists and 700 newsrooms received USAID money. It's a wonder all of them parrot the same news. Roll it.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan community.
You want to know why all the news seems fake and gray? Well,
false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media checking facts first. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
And some of you still turn it on at night. Jonathan, did you hear what the news is saying about you in Pittsburgh? Good. If these people were on my side, I'd be nervous. Now, you see what? They were trying to get everybody shut down on Twitter and Facebook because the news is completely controlled until these platforms came out. So then anybody that broke any news that wasn't approved there, they shut you down. We were this close to being finished, and now it's a new dawn. 6,000.
Absolutely accurate. We were that close to being finished as a nation. It took somebody really special like Donald Trump to stand up and take everything. They tried to take him out 6 ways from Sunday, as Chuck Schumer said. By the way, Chuck Schumer, can we talk about his marriage? Can we talk about Emmanuel Macron and Michelle becoming Obama? Can we talk about what's going on? Because it's a little jarring. maybe another topic for another day. Rooted Wings here says, you don't have to pretend to know all the details of U.S. aid to understand this. Spending our tax dollars on drag shows and opium fields in foreign places as Lahaina. Okay, I'm reading. Okay, I thought it meant foreign places such as. You don't have to pretend to know all the details of U.S. aid to understand this. Spending our tax dollars on drag shows and opium fields in foreign places. While Lahaina, West North Carolina, and Los Angeles are devastated, I'll add East Palestine, Ohio. It is a betrayal by the establishment who is tasked to serve the United States. Do you agree or disagree with that? I agree completely. Here's Caroline Levitt. Good morning, America. Setting the record straight. As Michael Strahan being a good little boy. You got Mr. Pfizer. You got Strahan. You're with ABC. Oh, yeah. ABC, ESPN, Disney. Perhaps the worst company who's been giving us the biggest lies with the biggest propagandists like Jimmy Kimmel. All the woke shit they've tried to shoehorn into everything Disney. ESPN pushing these fake race narratives, divisive, toxic stuff. Well, here's Michael Strahan, former defensive end badass, being a good little boy, making his money. But Caroline Levitt, she's up to the task. She actually can think on her feet, and she's a talented communicator. And she's still not found her sea legs yet. I think she's still improving. But I'm very critical of misspeaking and stuttering, stammering, mispronouncing words. So maybe she's doing a much better job than I give her credit for. But yeah, she does very well here answering this, because the left, just call it U.S. aid. They steal your money and they fund places like ABC that who really watches their content? Anyway, they're pushing a narrative. Caroline Levitt, press secretary, speaks back.
To the funding part, the White House putting a freeze on federal assistance program. The federal judges put the freeze temporarily on hold, saying the government itself doesn't have the full scope of the programs that are going to be impacted. So what's your response to that?
Well, as I addressed in my first press briefing yesterday, this is a temporary pause on federal assistance and grants so that the Office of Management and Budget here in the Executive Office of the President can review all federal assistance that is going out the door. Again, President Trump promised the American people he would be a good steward of their tax dollars. And what we cannot do is fund programs that run contrary to the executive orders and actions that this president has already taken. So there will be no more federal funding for DEI programs. There will be no more federal funding for the Green New Deal, which is an order from the previous administration that President Trump has rescinded. It would make no sense for American taxpayers to pay for policies that this administration is no longer implementing. So that's all this is, a temporary pause on federal assistance and grants so we can conduct a review of all of the money that's going out the door. And as I repeatedly stated yesterday, individual assistance such as Medicare payments, Social Security benefits, welfare, food stamps, and Medicaid assistance will not be impacted by this federal pause. So the American people should not worry. If they're receiving individual assistance from the federal government, they will continue to receive that.
Well, the Medicaid system was disrupted across the country yesterday. Online portals, they went down in response to this freeze action. So should that not have happened? And is that a sign of a chaotic rollout?
No, absolutely not. And I would like to address that. We were made aware of that immediately, and we amended the problem immediately. The Medicaid program is back up and running online.
Let's get to the funding.
There you go. You got to shut down the liars and their propaganda. Let's talk about liars and propaganda. Christopher Wray. Remember Christopher Wray? Here's Kash Patel.
Wray was caught last year illegally using 702 collection methods against Americans 274,000 times.
274,000 times.
It's not my number. It's in the report that they wrote. The FISA court wrote it. And there was this big fight about 702 reauthorization. I know it might not be appealing to your audience, but it was a big fight this year to say we want FISA reform. And FISA did need reform. We exposed it and we gave you a bunch of reforms during Russiagate, and it never got implemented. So because the budget of FISA was up this cycle, we demanded Congress fix it. And do you know what the majority in the House, where the Republicans did? They bent the knee. They reauthed it.
Why?
I don't know. Ask them. And they said, oh, no, we're just doing it for another year. We're just going to kick the can down the road. I'm like, okay, so the other year you're doing it for is an election year. We showed you how they abused FISA once already. And then now you know about Chris Wray and all these other FISA abuses. But you trust the director of the FBI?
And the FISA abuses were when Hillary Clinton, Barack Hussein Obama weaponized government to spy on Trump using a fake FISA warrant. It's what they do. The Five Eyes program. Hello, this is Barack Obama. You're in the Five Eyes? Yes. We need you to surveil members of the Trump team. And if you can tell us that something is happening, then we can take that and then surveil everyone in their phones. So can you look at Carter Page so we can get to Trump, so we can defeat him, so he doesn't expose our money laundering and treasonous activities? Yes. Huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Who's in the Five Eyes? England, Australia. Who is in Five Eyes? Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. That's what he did. Spied on Carter Page. Trump advisor at the center of the... Okay, yeah, Carter Page. Do spiders have five eyes?
This guy, Chris Wray, who went before you and said, no, don't worry, we fixed everything, we're good. And they gave him more spy powers? Chris Wray was caught.
Yeah, and by the way, that's what they... So Five Eyes, they illegally spied on Trump's candidacy, his campaign, all of his people, because they're cheaters and they're traitors, election interferers, treasonous actors. Yeah, they framed President Trump from the fake insurrection. Not a single shot was fired from a MAGA supporter. President Trump said, go make our voices heard peacefully, patriotically. He told Pelosi and Bowser, I'm authorizing 15,000 National Guard to be here and just kind of keep the peace. They both declined it. They both didn't want to have a debate on the Senate floor or the congressional floor saying, well, hold on, these 7 states, they're fraud states. They're not swing states anymore. They delayed their election with Trump up hundreds of thousands of votes. You magically find just enough to barely put him over the finish line. We're not buying it. We're going to take away, we're not going to count those votes. Those are fraudulent states. They outed themselves. So now nobody gets the 270 needed to become a president. So now we're going to have to go to a congressional vote, in which case President Trump would have won. Or some variation of the debate on the floor recommending various alternatives of how to move forward. You can accept those. You can accept the alternate electors, or you could just throw them all out as tainted. They didn't want that. So they needed a coup. They needed to stage the mostly peaceful protests on January 6th. They needed, who's that big guy? What's his name? I'm thinking Christopher Wray. Ray Epps. There we go. I knew something, and that usually happens in my head. Like if it's Christopher Wray or Ray Epps, Kenneth, if you watch my my comedy routine, I sent you the link to. I did a joke about President Trump talking about Riley Gaines, but he mistakenly calls her Laken Riley. I mean Riley Gaines, because when it's Riley, Laken Riley, the unfortunate soul who was murdered by an illegal alien invader that Obama and Biden snuck into our country, causing her death, guy that should have never been here. And if you just had a bouncer checking IDs at the nightclub door, he would have never got in. But it just dawned on me that Laken Riley, the swimmer who had to compete against that guy, sparking all of this girls' sports debate, they share the name Laken. No, they share the name Riley. Laken Riley and Riley Gaines. So in Christopher Wray, I couldn't think of Ray Epps' name because Christopher W-R-A-Y was on my brain. And that took me, yeah, Ray Epps, you needed to be pulling barricades away. You needed people busting windows and, undercover. It was kind of like a Reichstag event. They're still not even telling exactly who was there from the alphabet agencies on January 6th and who was participating. And were they acting as instigators? Were they trying to make this event happen so that they could frame the Trump supporters and go heavy-handed and try to paint Trump as an insurrectionist who's ineligible to serve another term? Well, they failed. Thank God they failed. But that's what they're up to. They do that with Five Eyes. They do that with Facebook, Instagram, Meta, Google, YouTube, Twitter. They pay non-governmental organizations, NGOs, to claim that here's a independent fact checker group. If you got to say independent fact checker, I know you're not independent. So then they would say, well, we think they're saying misinformation about the Wuhan virus being released from Fauci, USAID, the bioweapons labs in China to destroy humanity, thin the population, and keep Trump out of office. If you said stuff like that, you were taken off social media. You were demonetized, shadow banned, deleted. Oh, that wasn't us. That was Five Eyes. That was not us. Yeah, that was at your direction. The insurrection, air quote. That was a setup. All of these things, all the censorship, they're all setups. They're all fake. And this is the world that we've been living in. We're trying to emerge from this. Caroline Larry, this is kind of funny. I like this little piece here.
Some things in history just make sense. And one of those things that just makes sense is Trump having a blonde squad for his press secretary team. It just fits in American history. And I'm finding way too much comedy in this squad. And speaking of things that just fit, the names of these three young, successful women, they just fit. We got Caroline with a K. Then we have Keegan, and let me show you how you spell Keegan. Keegan Nangle. Here we go. Kieghan. In the back, we have Sunny Joy to round it all off. Caroline with a K, Sunny Joy, and Keegan. This is the press secretary team. All that's missing is a Lakin. They show up in the morning to go talk to the press outside of the White House with their blown out hair, perfect makeup, coffee, and they're saying, hey, media, welcome to the Blonde Squad Thunderdome. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Hope you brought some good questions this morning. If I was helping Caroline Levitt, every morning when she does this walkout, I would record it like a UFC fighter walking into the octagon. It is time. And over the video, I would put, they should have a theme song. They should have a theme song. The Blonde Squad needs a theme song. Get to writing Carrie Underwood. And Caroline, Keegan, or Sunny Joy, if you're watching this, please approve my press credential for the White House. Please, thank you. Some things in
maybe Kid Rock or Carrie Underwood. What would the theme song be for the Blonde Squad? That's a good question. This is Kristen Hawkins. Well, I mean, this is, well, let me just click on it, expand it. Kristen Hawkins says, as Super Bowl Sunday approaches, it's the perfect time to reshare our commercial that was deemed too tough for the NFL. Charlie's Angels comes in. I guess maybe I need to be reading this for you. It says, did you know Planned Parenthood ends the lives of 400,000 preborn babies a year? 6.5 athletic stadiums, using hundreds of millions of dollars from taxpayers. They commit acts of violence against vulnerable women and innocent babies, use the profits to lobby for endless taxpayer funding. Planned Parenthood's largest abortion vendor in America. Once again, I think with the issue of abortion, it's if they're going to do their thing, I think that there's a libertarian leaning that we need to govern with. We can have our personal beliefs and we can choose to stay sober if we want. We can choose to have abortions if we want. We can choose, but pushing your views on others that's where you start drawing a line. I say for the trans thing all the time, I'm like, I encourage you not to have surgeries that will prevent you from having an orgasm for the rest of your life. It's the best cheat code in the world to just give you a nice 5 seconds of, oh, that, My whole day could be garbage, but I had a nice moment there and I can relax a little bit. It's a cheat code. I encourage people not to mess with their ability to do that. But if you decide as an 18-year-old to do that, you can do that with your own money. I don't think we should get in the way of preventing that. But you need to protect the kids from that, and we don't have to pay for that. It's the same with abortion. Like, if you want to keep it legal and it's going to be there, and once again, Trump didn't change this. The Supreme Court said this Roe versus Wade should have never been ruled that way. Our 10th Amendment says any power not specifically designated to the federal government, all of those should be handed to the people, the states. Ratified in December 15, 1791. It's the final amendment in the Bill of Rights. The federal government only does the things that the powers have been explicitly defined. And if it's not that, then you shouldn't be getting involved with it. So why are taxpayer dollars going to Planned Parenthood? They shouldn't. They shouldn't. If someone wants to choose to pay for something like that, you can do that. Roe versus Lade. No versus Lade? Grow versus... Yeah, there's something there. All right, here's Caroline Levitt, shared from TND.
Are any officials here preparing to fight Democratic lawmakers in the streets?
Absolutely not.
So some of these...
Thanks for the question.
Some elected Democrats are so steamed about DOGE. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver says, we are at war. Ilhan Omar says, we might actually see somebody get killed. And Chris Van Hollen says, we have to fight this in the Congress. We have to fight this in the streets. So what now?
And may I just point out, if you heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today. It's unacceptable, the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders, and frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because President Trump was elected with a mandate from the American people to make this government more efficient. He campaigned across this country with Elon Musk, vowing that Elon was going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, and the two of them, with a great team around them, were going to look at the receipts of this federal government and ensure it's accountable to American taxpayers. That's all that is happening here, and for Democrat officials to incite violence and encourage Americans to take to the streets is incredibly alarming, and they should be held accountable for that rhetoric.
It sounds like something that they're most concerned about is DOGE engineers with access to Treasury systems. Can you clarify, do the DOGE engineers have read-only access in these systems, so they are not allowed to write new code? No. Are any officials...
So there you go. They're big mad. You wonder why they're big... No, I didn't say Big Mike. I said they're big mad. Breland Hollyhand says... Oh, okay. Paul Farhi at the bottom here says, Musk's commando staff include guys who are 21, 23, 24, and 25. One is 19 years old. His job title is expert. Breland Hollyhand says, this is your friendly reminder that founding father James Monroe was 18 when he signed the Declaration of Independence. Young Americans founded this nation, so it's no crazy idea that they should still be invoked today. How about that? This is from GLKCS.
I've worked damn near 40 years of my life, and this stuff coming out of DOGE makes me physically ill. It makes me sick, and we've only done USAID. We haven't even gotten to the Pentagon, to the Treasury, to the IRS, to Health and Human Services, to Social Security, to Department of Education. We haven't gotten to any of those yet. I'm just telling you right now, to the people who stole and laundered our tax dollars, you better hope there's fucking bars in between us and you. Because I want all your shit. I want your fucking retirement.
I want all your shit. All of your pension, all of your retirement, sell the homes. I want reparations for the damage done to my media company that should have been fucking thriving during the past 14 years of nailing the stories before you even heard about them. We've had our ear to the train track for a decade and a half, crushing it. But our content just, it goes into the woods. If I'm producing great content, but nobody's there to see it, How can you monetize it, and how can you live off of it? I want reparations for what they've done. I want Meta. I want Twitter. I want Google. I want the Democrats. I want to get paid for what you've done to kneecap my company, my voice, to silence me. I want your pension. I want your fancy homes in areas that you whine and cry about in Martha's Vineyard. Oh, there's going to be global warming and the oceans are going to rise. And oh, won't somebody think of the children? This lady's energy. I want your shit. I want all of it. Sell off everything at the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, MSNBC, all the lying outlets. I want your shit. I like this energy. This is good.
Savings, your stocks, your houses, your cars.
Oh my God, your Pelosi stocks. All these politicians earning $200,000 a year. Now they're suddenly worth $36 million. Oh, I want all of that. And you need to be in Gitmo.
Your furs, your jewels, and if your mama, daddy, brother, sister, grandma, or kids benefited from it, I want all their shit too. Prison is not a good enough punishment for this. You better hope there's fucking bars in between us and you.
They say these people won't be able to walk the streets. They've been pirates. They've been ruining our country and stealing from us in the process. This post from Cross 916 Memes too. It's weird watching people still direct their hate towards people telling them the truth and not towards those who lied to them. It's kind of weird watching people be hateful toward truth tellers. Huh. You know, and that reminds me of another guy who had long hair. Oh, God, it's been so long. I am not up to date on my Simpsons. I have not quoted these lines in so long. I have actually lost a little bit of muscle memory. Does DOGE need to be on a leash? No, unleash the dog. The line I was trying to remember here is about how they go after the truth tellers and how humanity's so weird that way. Kids, let me tell you about another so-called wicked guy. He had long hair and some wild ideas, and he didn't always do what other people thought was right. And that man's name was, I forget. But the point is, I forget that too. Marge, you know who I'm talking about. He used to drive that blue car. Oh my God. And he wore an onion on his belt. Yes. I appreciate that you're a Simpsons fan, Kenneth. I really do. But yeah, this meme reminds me of the Jesus thing. It's weird watching people still direct their hate toward people telling them the truth and not those who are lying to them. Almost like they're worshiping a synagogue of Satan. Money changers. Yeah, bankers didn't like Jesus. The powers that be didn't like Jesus. Jesus was a pretty consequential dude. Maybe the savior of mankind. This meme here shared from 300 Guns. Reasons why someone would be against DOGE. A, corrupt AF. B, corrupt AF. C, corrupt AF. D, corrupt AF. This one shared from Mother Foker. Wow, this is actually connected to what I was just talking about, what we were talking about. 1% control the world. 4% are their puppets. 90% are asleep. 5% know and try to wake the 90. The 1% use the 4% to prevent the 5% from waking up the 90%. Damn, if that isn't incredible. This maths. In 3%ers, and only took 3% to actually fight in the Revolutionary War. They always call it a conspiracy, but they never call it a lie. Here's one, a caged lion and an open lion. One of these lions has security, free shelter, free food, free medical care. The other lion has no assurances. Everything about his quality of life is his own responsibility. Are you seriously going to question every single narrative on the news? Me. Completely covered in tinfoil. Yes. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a things aren't adding up and it's pretty obvious theorist. That's a good account. I don't recall sharing their stuff before. Mo Thoreau care. Eric Daughtry sharing from Gentry Geevers again. Breaking. Yeah, this is about President Trump ordering the Secret Service to give every bit of information regarding the 2 assassination attempts against him. Trump says, I'm entitled to know. I want to find out about the 2 assassins. Why did the one guy have 6 cell phones? Why did the other guy have 4 apps? No more holding back because of Biden. I'm entitled to know. And they held it back long enough. No excuses. Preach. Oh, Lord. I guess, we ended up on a bit of a theme here about the 1%. So, rapper B.O.B. I really liked B.O.B. in the song Airplanes. Do you know the song Airplanes? Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now. Wish right now. Wish right now. Yeah, I could. Oh, this is like the different one. Yeah, I could use a dream or a genie or a wish to go back to a place much simpler than this. Because after all the partying and smashing and crashing, all the glitz and the glam and the fashion, and all the pandemonium and all the madness, there comes a time where you fade into the blackness. And when you're staring at your phone in your lap and you're hoping, but them people never call you back, that's just how the story unfolds. You get another hand soon after you fold. And when your plans unravel in the sand, what would you wish for if you had one chance? So airplane, sorry, I'm late. I'm on my way, so don't close that gate. If I don't make that, then I'll switch my flight and I'll be right back at it by the end of the night. Yeah, somebody take me back to the days before this was a job, before I got paid, before it ever mattered what I had in my bank. Yeah, back when I was trying to get a tip at Subway. And back when I was rapping for the hell of it, but nowadays we rapping to stay relevant. I'm guessing that if we can make some wishes out of airplanes, then maybe, oh maybe, I'll go back to the days before the politics that we call the rap game. And back when ain't nobody listened to my mixtape, and back before when I tried to cover up my slang. But this is for Decatur. What up, Bobby Ray? So can I get a wish to end the politics and get back to the music that started this shit? So here I stand, and then again I say I'm hoping we can make some wishes out of airplanes. I want Eminem's lyrics, though. Where's his? Now let's pretend it was all good, like I didn't live staring in a notebook. Well, is this the beginning of it? I think so. Let's pretend. I love this song, though. Yeah, let's pretend it's like 98, like I'm eating lunch off of styrofoam trays, trying to be the next rapper coming out of the A-Town, hoping for a record deal to ignore my pain. Now let's pretend like I'm on a stage. When my beat drops, everybody goes insane. Okay. And everybody know my name, B.O.B. And everywhere I go, people want to hear me sing. Oh, yeah, I just dropped my new album. On the first week, I did 500,000. Gold in the spring and diamond in the fall. And then a world tour just to top it all off. Let's pretend that they called me the greatest, selling out arenas with big-ass stages. And everybody loved me and no one ever hated. Just try to use imagination. And that's Haley comes in. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now. Okay, let's pretend like this never happened. Like I never had dreams of being a rapper. Like I didn't write raps up in all of my classes. Like I never used to run away into the blackness. Now let's pretend like it was all good. Like I didn't live staring at a notebook. Like I did all the things that I probably knew I should, but I ain't had neighbors. That's why they call it hood. Now let's pretend that I ain't got a name before they ever called me B.O.B., a.k.a. Bobby Ray. I'm talking back before the mixtapes, before the videos and the deals and the fame, before they ever once compared me to Andre, before I ever got on MySpace, before they ever noticed my face. So let's just pretend and make wishes out of airplanes. Yep, here's where Eminem comes in. I would play this for you if I could. Go look it up. The Eminem Haley Williams version of this is so good. And it seems like yesterday, it was just a dream, but those days are gone. They're just memories. And it seems like yesterday. Anyway, all right, let's pretend Marshall Mathers never picked up a pen. Let's pretend things would have been no different. Pretend he procrastinated, had no motivation. Pretend he just made excuses that were so paper thin. They could blow away with the wind. Marshall, you ain't never gonna make it. Makes no sense to play the game. There ain't no way that you'll win. Pretend he just stayed outside all day and played with his friends. Pretend he even had a friend to say was his friend, and it wasn't time to move and schools weren't changing again. He wasn't socially awkward and just strange as a kid. He had a father and his mother wasn't crazy as shit. And he never dreamed he could rip stadiums and just lazy as shit. Fuck a talent show in a gymnasium, bitch. You won't amount to shit. Quit daydreaming, kid. You need to get your cranium checked. You're thinking like an alien. It just ain't realistic. Now pretend they ain't just made him angry with all this shit. And there was nowhere he could even aim when he's pissed. And his alarm went off to wake him, but he didn't make it to the rap Olympics. Slept through his plane and he missed it. He's going to have a hard time explaining to Haley and Laney these food stamps and this weak shit. It's wick shit. I always said it was weak shit. And this wick shit, because he never risked shit. He hoped and he wished it, but he didn't fall in his lap, so he ain't even here. He pretends that. That's B.O.B. God, I wish I could have just played you the song. I love it, though. God, it's such a good song. Those three vocalists, oh, they crush it. But this is B.O.B. talking about that 1% we were just talking about. His words, not mine, but here you go.
13 bloodlines that run the world. Look up. This is not even no theory, y'all. This, you can look up the 25 banks that own.
Mainstream media support is slim, and they're definitely shady. No, I don't have a USB input in my car, but I'm ready to play it like this weekend. I think that's the game plan. Yeah, mainstream media being hooked on blue pills. Oh, Satan, can you see by the dawn's early light? Yeah, hooked on blue pills, not Viagra, the other ones. The other ones that'll make your life hard instead of making your rock hard.
Own everything. Nigga, everything? Nigga, everything. And, you know, we feel like we're doing something because, you know, we find out, you know, who Rockefeller is and, you know, we find out who the Rothschilds are. And we're like, man, figured it out. No. All of them are just puppets.
So you got the 1%, the 4%, the 90%, and the 5%. We're part of the 5%.
You think
if you're watching us, you're part of the 5%, or you're one of the handlers who's been assigned to the New American Media to keep tabs on what we're up to. And this is just my reminder to you, all the deep state spooks who are keyed into our content. You have a unique opportunity to save humanity from the inside. All of those movies where one person can sacrifice themselves to just let everything loose, to destroy it from the inside. You could press the button. There's things that you could do to bring the whole house of cards down. And while you're being paid to keep your tabs on me, you could actually be a counter insurgent for their insurgency. All the demons that are trying to ruin this great country. You're on the inside and you're working for the bad guys, but you know where you're at. You know that any moment you could join the National Apology Project and totally redeem yourself, as they say in Dumb and Dumber. And you do something like this and totally redeem yourself. So when the time comes, and you'll know when it is, you can fight for humanity instead of the people that hate humans. Remember that.
The government and the politicians are puppets, or even the Illuminati's puppets. It's something much darker behind all of that. It doesn't matter if somebody calls you crazy. It really doesn't. At this point, the shit that's finna happen, the shit that they finna do, you think people calling you crazy is the worst that could happen? You got two different types of people. You know, you got the people that are like, you know, that doesn't make sense. Like, explain that to me. You got people like that. Don't turn those people away. And then you got some people that are just like, this is stupid, you fucking idiot, this is dumb. Like, don't even smack them people. Like, it's a waste of time. They're angry because they can't even express themselves. They don't have the vocabulary or the knowledge to express themselves.
That is such a good point. You meet these people that have been brainwashed, brain damaged, indoctrinated. They can't speak for themselves. They don't have the vocabulary for it.
If you let yourself become entangled with those people, then you're just letting the same negative parasitic entity feed off of your energy and siphon off your energy that's using them. With trolls, like, fuck the trolls. The 13.
So yeah, this one, this phrase here on the side, the comment, we're engaging in a spiritual war. We all chose to reincarnate here to help. That's I've heard that so many times, that I picked this, that I wanted to be in this battle. I'm here for that reason. I don't know how accurate that is. Like maybe in Men in Black, you get flashy thinged. And your memory is wiped, your hard drive is wiped clean, and you come back and you go through it again. You're like, I could do better. Send me here. I want to be. I had someone the other day that was fairly convinced that I was an angel sent for them. And I've had angels sent to me who expressed that they were out of nowhere. They said, I'm an angel and I was sent here to help you. And if that's never happened to you, that is a goosebumps. It's a jarring, it's a powerful moment. But this post here says, we're engaging in a spiritual war. We all chose to reincarnate here to help. We lost all of our knowledge and we're victims to what the Bible calls sin. But in actuality, it's an innate energy specific to our planet. It's more of a yin-yang thing as opposed to a sin go to hell thing. We're in hell and we choose to fight for it, to bring equilibrium. A lot of us tip the scales further into the blackness. Realize your true purpose. You're capable of anything. Spread positivity. All right. Well, that's a theme for today. Hey, speaking about the NFL, look at this. Tyreek Hill. He's an interesting character. But he says, hey, I've always been a fan of President Trump. The superstar Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill said playing in front of President Trump is a bucket list item, and he confessed he's always been a fan. Good for you. Started following Senate GOP here. And it's who is this? Senator Joni Ernst says the more we learn about how U.S. aid spent tax dollars, the more it makes sense why this rogue agency did everything in its power to stonewall and obstruct my investigations. Now we know the truth and will gut this waste. Eric Matheny, shared from Emma Mitchum, says Trump is governing like a man who has been shot, indicted, investigated, and impeached and has no fucks left to give. It's glorious. We replied, full steam ahead. Full freaking steam ahead, people. Oh, can I play this for you? God, it's going to allowed me to go up to the mountain. Oh, this is going to get my video banned if I play this. And I see music's too loud. Do I risk it all?
I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land.
This is David Harris Jr. sharing this, saying, wow, this will go down as the best video of 2025. Man, it's going to get my video flagged. But I want to share this with you. Ophelia says, I've watched this 5 times and I choke back my tears. This is powerful and important. It has deep spiritual meaning. Oh, God. I'll try to mute some of it in between. Ah, God. I hate the copyright laws. We're commenting on this. We're doing fair use. We're adding original commentary to it. We should be allowed to play it. Oh, this is a really good video.
I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
I can can try to mute it and bring it back. Show in the White House. Oh, God, the music is so front forward on this, though. Building the wall. Is that Hegseth with the military? Doggone it. The music's good, but it's going to ruin my ability to share it.
What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
Trump orders... just watch it. Go to our Instagram feed and watch this. Let me see if I have it on X. I'll share it on X. Trump winds of change. There it is. David Harris. Okay. I'm sharing this on our X feed. Go to American_media_. All right. TNAM music. We shared that. This is awesome. So go check it out. It's on our Instagram feed, but that'll expire. This is on the Instagram, the American_media_ Facebook, Instagram. Good God. My grandmother used to confuse all of the cousins, all the nephews, all the grandkids. Bobby, Johnny, she'd rattle off names, and it would always be the last name that she would use to find you. But if she speaks to the next person who was the first name she said, it would always be the last name she would find. I just told you Instagram and Facebook. What I'm saying is go to X at American_media_, and you'll see this video. It's powerful. So just watch it. I don't know. I just hate that I can't share this with you. It's so good. All right, President Trump here. This is from Raging Americans. I can play this, I think.
Look at USAID. That's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous. And we're going to be doing that throughout government. And I think we're going to be very close to balancing budgets for the first time in many years. When you look,
wouldn't that be something to balance a budget? I think that would be fantastic. And I think we need to start going into the black. Not just break even. Let's start crushing. Raise the value of our currency. Make our money spend further. Being Libertarian says, actually, let me switch back to that because it's easier to read. Let me get this straight. Democrats think prepubescent children can evaluate their gender and make a lifelong decision, but someone who is 19 to 22 years old is too young to help evaluate the government? They're going after big balls and Elon's DOGE team. Oh, they're only 19. They're only 22 years old. Yeah. They're adults. They could serve in our military. At the same time, you're trying to say prepubescent kids should be chopping off body parts in some Joseph Mengele, Dr. Frankenstein style ghoulish genital mutilation surgery instead of helping the people cope with gender dysphoria and working with them and showing care and compassion and telling them, look, it's okay to be who you are and love who you love. You can even dress how you want to dress. No amount of surgery is going to change your XY chromosomes. You're loved. Please don't mangle yourself. It's just like a flat-chested girl getting made fun of, or the mental abuse from a boyfriend or a spouse that won't let up until they get a boob job. It's like, you're not okay how you are. You need to go under the knife. You're not okay unless you have surgeries. You need to change yourself to be okay. It sounds kind of gross when you think about a boyfriend or a husband putting pressure on their significant other to be something that they're not. but that's celebrated for gender mutilation surgeries. It's a little incongruous to me. Yes, what is that music you hear? Yeah, that's Winds of Change. Winds of Change. This here, Dark and Twisty Ginger 2.0. This is from A Few Good Men. I want the truth. Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. Independent fact checkers, with guidance from the FBI, have concluded that you can't handle the truth. Michael Rappaport even praising Trump. I like what I'm seeing so far. Good. This is in the running for meme of the year. Maxine Waters has been a nut job for decades. And this guy blocking access to the building. They are desperately trying to get inside and shred documents and make sure that they can cover up as much as they can, but the genie might be out of that bottle. But this meme says, this is me ignoring the crackhead outside of 7-Eleven. Hey, can we make arresting panhandlers outside of 7-Eleven great again? There's little changes that we can make to improve our society. Yeah, that meme is just kind of perfect. The ramblings of a lunatic, and you're just like, yeah, I'm not engaging with this. It's maybe my favorite thing ever. This one here. Bernie Sanders says, yes, we did have major constitutional crisis. Americans did not fight and die to protect democracy so that the richest man in the world could single-handedly dismantle agencies that protect workers, consumers, and children. Together we can and will defeat Trump's authoritarianism. So Tired official says, actually they did, you moron. Americans fought and died for free and fair elections. Get over it. You lost. And read the Constitution. I feel like every show I do now is going to include this clip of this baby. I don't know where it came from, but the way that this baby makes the noise just hits me in the funny bone. This is Democrats pointing at USAID.
No.
Can I have USAID?
No. No.
The second one's the best.
No.
Democrats want their dirty USAID money. Friggin' love it. All right. Maxine Waters or undies. All right. That's all I got for you now. I got some errands to run and some Super Bowl to get ready for. Maybe I'll do a live stream during the Super Bowl. I'm going to be watching it anyway. If some of you are watching it anyway, maybe we can watch it together. I haven't decided yet. Happy Saturday, folks. We're in the golden age. Let's enjoy it. And let's double down and let's get to work. Let's fix some stuff. Kenneth, thanks for being here today. Everybody out there in the TNAM AM universe, thank you for joining us today. Here's where I tell you about the places to find us. Facebook, we have a page, The New American Media. Instagram, we have a page, The New American Media. Facebook, we have TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Kenneth, how many groups are you in? There's TNAM Food and Drink. There's TNAM Humor. There's TNAM Preparedness. There's all sorts of TNAM groups for The New American Media. Find those groups and join them. We're on Truth Social, The New American Media. Rumble and YouTube, The New American Media. We are on X at American_media_. We are also on Spotify, the Agree to Disagree Show podcast. That's a good one. Hey, we had another Patreon subscriber yesterday. 5 groups. Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of groups. TNAM Food and Drink, TNAM Humor, TNAM Preparedness, TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Those are some major ones. I'm forgetting a ton. But yeah, thanks to the new Patreon subscriber. Signed up to make a donation. You can do that for $5, $15, $100, $1,000 a month, whatever you can. The more that we're funded, the more we can grow. The more shows we're going to do, the more fun we're going to have. The more special guests we're going to have. The more content we'll deliver. I promise. That's the goal. So thank you for joining up on Patreon. Spotify. Spot that guy. We're also on Venmo at Brian Engelman and PayPal at Fuzz Installment, FUZZINSTALLMENT, and Cash App, Brian Engelman, BRIANENGELMAN. If any of you appreciate independent journalism and want to support our work, that is the way you can do so. And you can also let the ads play on our Rumble feed because that's a penny or two into the wishing well. We are increasing our numbers on all platforms. All of our platforms are growing. I want them to grow faster. I want them to keep growing. I want them to go hyperbolic, exponential. I want up through the roof. To the moon, says Doge, to the moon. But yeah, our analytics are growing on every platform. And if you like the New American Media, tell some friends. Kenneth. Actually, we used to have a man cave. We had a group in Facebook called the Man Cave. It was lit. It was good group. But Zuckerberg and his bots started messing with us. No, I mean, we really did have it wasn't an official TNAM group. It was the Man Cave. We just called it the Man Cave. That was a good group. It's still there, but we don't use it. Like we figured out Zuckerberg hates people having fun. But I like where your head's at. Geez, I would join that group. Hell, I might invent that group. But anyway, link up with us in all the places, including Signal, Cleavage Console, Signal and Telegram. We're TNAM and TNAM Chat. TNAM and TNAM Chat. Those are our backup accounts where we post our stuff. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. Go Eagles. I'll be back maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. TNAM AM Show. Yeah, Zuckerberg. He sucks. He sucks big time. All right. I'm really signing out. I got some errands to run. I appreciate everyone joining me for unpacking the news. Oh, crap. One more thing. Let me just make sure I scanned the new things. Viktor Orban is going hard at the European Union at a rally in Madrid. Yeah, Elon is getting... did I even talk about Elon doing the ads? I talked about DOGE all day, but Elon allegedly, I did mention it, but Elon bought 4 Super Bowl ads for $30 million, like $7.5 million an episode. So I think the DOGE ads might be more entertaining than the Super Bowl. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And I did want to mention this. Donald Trump teed off with Tiger Woods before heading off the Super Bowl. Tiger just lost his mother, and they've been friends for a while. 2 of the biggest names in golf, Donald Trump and Tiger Woods. President Trump golfing with Tiger today. It's touching. It's very sweet. Relationships matter, and that's cool. And yeah, good for them. It just kind of warms the heart. It's just like they've known each other for 30 years, so. Okay, now I'm really signing out. Appreciate all of you. We'll talk to you again next time. I appreciate you.